Now that we've reached the semifinals, predictions will be going on. Both semis will be casted, so Nina versus Sephiron will be on this channel right after this best of 3. And spawning in the bottom. Oh, hold on, I gotta. God damn it. There we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the American Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Vindicta. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Filipino Protoss representing Berserker Esports. It is StarDash. And as we get into this first semifinals match, as we get into a proxy, a big shout out to Ryu. Papi, gracias, papi, gracias. Ryu, of course, one of the Cranky Ducklings, the Italian/Peruvian Zerg player. Thank you, gracias, papi. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. Ojalá que todo te va bien. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the semifinals of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. Ooh, it is our own region-locked event. Region-locked to the Latin Americas, North Americas, Oceania, and Southeast Asia as well. As I try to set things up here. Semifinals. And predictions in the chat should now be open for the next couple of minutes. So place your bets. Place your bets. Meanwhile, we do have the probe coming in for a scout. Does confirm that the Rax is missing. Now, what's scary is that the Rax could be at the natural. We're going to be scouting, checking the natural, the linear third, the triangular third as well. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be a proxy. It is only going to be a singular Rax here, so not the most committed aggression from Migs, from Vindicta. As we do have, the bunker on the way as well. He's looking to get some economic damage. He's looking to delay mining time here at the natural. Zealot does come out. And we are looking to try to take down this SCV. So far, the RNG, not working well. The SCV goes down. This bunker will not finish. The Reaper still gets a probe kill. Dives into the main base. Stalker still in production. Boys are being pulled. And can we get another probe so far? Good control, pulling back some of those weakened probes. Have to be very careful here with how we maneuver. So far, only one worker kill. And lost mining time, to be fair as well. Behind this, Migs is transitioning. Again, he's not all in. He was just looking to disrupt the early game. And he did. He forced out a shield battery, forced out a zealot. Lost mining time. Dead worker. Not too bad. Not a bad start. I'm sure he wanted more, but StarDash is able to keep up. Is able to keep up. A couple of KDA charges are thrown down as well, as Vindicta does rotate up into the main. Oh, but it is caught out. One Reaper falls. And looking at the vision, did Migs end up catching the tech? He did. He did see the Twilight Council is aware of the blink opener. Is aware. Just fixing some things up. Do have the Rax floating back home. Oh, shout out to La Tortuga. The mascot of our tournament. I don't think he has a name yet, but we'll come up with some names. As behind this, we're getting into the rest of our setup here. CC on the high ground, factory starport, second Rax is on the way. A bit of a 2-on-1 setup. Should be working on a third Rax momentarily once we get our economy going. And we are settling into the mid-game. Meanwhile, StarDash doesn't want to take this lying down. We do have a proxy pylon set up here across the map. A gateway is thrown down. How many gateways in total? We have one in the natural, we have one in the main, and one across the map. 3 gateways here. 3-gate blink. Much more aggressive compared to what Nina had in the previous game. Game 3 against Biffy B. So again, StarDash looking to be in the face of Migs. Meanwhile, the drop is going to be threatening the main. So far, Migs just waiting for the opportune moment. Here we go. He boosts in. And does StarDash react in time? He does. Does pull back. Averting disaster. Mine's still not going off, and it looks like it will connect with... the retargeting. The retargeting, Poppy. He's having fun. He's denying so much mining here, just constantly retargeting between all these probes. No, they come back too soon. And finally, it goes off. But it took so long for these workers to get back to mining here at the main base. And that was only one mine. We have a second. We have a second winter mine here in the chamber. Behind this, that is more gateways. Oh my, it's a 2-base all-in. StarDash is going straight for a 2-base all-in. It's all or nothing for the Filipino Protoss. And Migs is aware. He saw the proxy. He knows. He's aware of at least 3 gateways. Little does he know that it's going to be a 6-gate all-in. Oh, Widow Mine is not going to burrow. Is shut down. So again, Migs, he hasn't seen the 6 gateways, so he knows aggression is coming. He doesn't know how committed exactly StarDash is. Raven Harass coming in. We scan. We see the lack of third base. Additional pylons are on the way. And so far, Migs, he's set up. He's got 1 tank in the low ground. He's got 2 tanks in the main. Good Sim City as well, protecting these tanks. But StarDash, he's coming. Does he have high ground vision? So far, he does not. So he doesn't have a way to blink into the main. He's going straight for the natural. Dives on in. The first tank is going to go down. The boys are being pulled. Can we get the second tank? We cannot. The tank fire is just too much. The spread is too good. And Migs holds. He does hold on. Behind this, StarDash barely has, or just doesn't have the most ideal economy. Recalls back home. Where's the third base? It's not here. Not like this. And StarDash, sure, like he's still technically in this game, but is falling further and further behind. His economy is in shambles. He's down in workers and in a TvP that is disastrous, considering that mules are a thing. Typically, the Protoss player wants to be up a base, and we're even on bases. Meanwhile, Migs just again securing himself, building up towards Marauder production. Concussive Shell on the way. And the Raven Harass just does not stop. And StarDash is going to try to transition out of this. It's going to be a rough road to recovery here for StarDash. But we're on it. We're walking that road. Additional gateways on the way. Charge as well. This is 8 gates in total, so an 8-gate charge all in would make sense. I'm curious if StarDash intends on saturating this third base or not, or how saturated it becomes. StarDash is going to be pushing. Does get eyes on the army. Scan does reveal the third. And Vindicta is pushing. Oh, charge still not done. And we are lacking warpins. We scan once again, trying to get eyes on the army. We see the Zealots, we see the Stalkers. Upon seeing the Stalkers, Vindicta, he should feel confident. He's pushing in. There just isn't much to stop him. The tanks are boosting forward. They are repositioning. Up, Raven goes down, but we still get the anti-armor missile. Oh my god. It still does connect. Overcharges pop. StarDash going to try and collapse on this army. We do dive on top of the tanks. Both tanks are going to go down. Big pickoffs. But the Bio army sims on forward. We depower the Robo. The Stalkers are exposed. We're going to ignore the Stalkers. We're going straight for the mineral line instead. StarDash trying to minimize his losses. He will eventually deal with this. More Stalkers are going down, and this is merely the first step, the first wave of MiGs, because here comes the second army. The Marauders are still standing strong. Finally, they go down. One Marauder survives, and here come the reinforcements. Overcharges on cooldown, and there just isn't enough left. GG gets called. Vindicta will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, it was a bold move for StarDash to go for a 2-base all-in to begin with, to wind it back. As a reminder, that was a 2-base all-in out of StarDash, but he was delayed. He was delayed because of the mine drops, the Raven Harass as well. Workers were going down, and he kind of stumbled his way into that all-in, and we saw just how well prepared Vindicta was. And there's a reason for that. Remember, he was constantly scouting, constantly scanning, checking with his Reapers, checking with his drops, and sure, he never saw all 6 gateways. That is true. He never did see them all, but he saw 3 gateways at least, and he also saw the lack of third base. He was scanning and checking the third base location. It was just never taken. So basically, Vindicta, he was going for a 4-gate response. Again, I don't think he expected it to be 6 gateways, but he was going for a 4-gate response, just setting himself up on 2 bases. A beautiful tank spread, really good Sim City. He was ready for a blink into the main, And instead we blinked into the natural, and there was plenty to hold on there. GG, well played. Vindicta will take the first game, but it's the best of 3, and I want to believe that DaSh can and will fight back. I want to believe. As game 2 is going to be taking place momentarily. Soon TM, Bobby, soon TM. So getting ready for that second game. Meanwhile, Vindicta, of course, oh, sorry, I'll fix this up. Bam, there we go. Vindicta, I hope he's confident in his TvP because there are nothing but Protoss players left. Again, no Zerg signups, or no kind of major Zerg signups this week, unfortunately. I mentioned before there was no Casimir this time, there was no Reaper, no Eon. The other common Zerg signups, who else am I thinking of? I think those are typically the signups that we do see. But yeah, this week they were not available. So only Protoss remain. And can Vindicta come out on top? Can he overcome the Kala? Oh, we're here for it. Catching up in the chat. Oh, hello, Nino. Ah, El Nino, papi. Looks like they're just getting the lobby ready. And then we can dive into this. But yeah, a big shout out to Ryu and Jason as well. Thank you for the raids. Gracias. As it's just taking a little bit of time here to get the lobby going. A big reason for this is because game 2 is going to be on the Singaporean server. Again, because our Protoss player here is from the Philippines, so we're just going to be alternating between servers, and hopefully shouldn't be too much of an issue. Beautiful. Looks like we have our lobby. It is going to be on, oh, Golden Aura. It's going to be on Golden Aura. Players are getting ready. Yeah, as we are just going to be setting things up. All good, papi, all good. And yeah, Golden Aura is going to be game number 2. Going to be a much smaller map. Going to be a much smaller map here instead. There we go. We're just finding our way where we need to be. It's a much smaller map. Very well secure on 3 bases. Like, your 3 base setup is very powerful and very solid. But because of the short rush distance by ground, we could see some more aggressive styles here from both the Terran and the Protoss. I want to believe, as we're getting ready for game number 2. Again, I apologize for the delay, but we are just going to be getting into it momentarily. Oh, good. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Meanwhile, I hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. It's been a long night of StarCraft. We started yesterday casting. It's all blending together. We covered KSL. It was KSL into World Team League. KSL was Korean StarCraft League. We casted the Korean StarCraft League into World Team League, into ESL Masters Americas, into this, the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, and then after this we have viewer replays as well. So it's been a long Saturday/Sunday. And then I can crash, I can go to bed, I can get a proper, hopefully 8 hours of sleep, and then we're going to be live. We're going to be back once again with ESL Masters tomorrow for Sunday night. But here we go, we're getting into game 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the American Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Vindicta. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have we have the Filipino Protoss, the blue Protoss representing Berserker Esports. It is StarDash. Here we go. Hello, Mr. Probe. We are going to be moving out here towards the right-hand side of the map. I'm curious if we're just scouting, if we're just trying to get a read on what his opponent is up to, what Migs is up to. As Migs is looking to go for a Rax Expand economic opener here out of our Terran player. Probe is coming in just to be a little bit annoying. Coming in for that scout. There we have our Gate Cyber Expand here from StarDash. The SCV is zooming across the map and we won't get here in time. Okay, we're good. Again, the SCV scout was a Rax scout. Rax first, then the SCV got sent out, so no eBay block. None of the sort. As we see StarDash just being as annoying as possible, delaying the CC. But shouldn't delay it for too much longer, as it is thrown down. Just getting into our openers. Also, we may have another cast tomorrow as well. I was a little bit distracted earlier because we may be getting into that. Just more StarCraft on the way, non-stop, happy non-stop. That's a big shout out to Ivy XXO. Thank you so much, Papi. Thank you. Yeah, Papi, yeah. We appreciate the support. Thank you for subscribing. Again, I hope you enjoy the emails in the chat. Hope you enjoy the replay packs. If you join our Discord server, we do send out replay packs to our subscribers. And we appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. We do what we can. All the money that we make here goes towards our tournaments, like this event, like the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, Sparkling Tuna Cup, and the Grand Platypus Open. So we do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. Gracias. So now the Reaper is going to be diving into the natural base. Probe is going to go down. So far, we're going to get a second worker falls as the Reaper dives into the main. Trying to get a read on what kind of tech we're working with. Once again, as Twilight Council, a Blink Stalker opener here from StarDash. We want a third probe. We're going to get it as well. Up! Oh my god. 3 workers and a scout for a Reaper. Well worth it. Well worth it here for Vindicta. Is more than what he wanted. Behind this is getting into his 1-1-1, looking to get into a Widowmine drop. And we'll see what direction StarDash takes us in. Remember, last game it was a 6-gate, 2-base all-in. And are we going to double down on the mass gateways, or do we go for a more economic opener instead? My eyes are on StarDash. For now, Hellion is going to be scouting, checking for a third base. Threatening a dive into the natural, but the Stalkers are in position. Hellion is forced back. Hellion is going to be forced back, and yeah, so far, so good. Oh, Adept gets caught out in the center of the map. We do have the mine drop coming out. It's only going to be a single Widow Mine, so not the most committed drop, but really the goal here with this mine drop is to get scouting information, more than anything, right? We've seen that StarDash is willing to be hyper aggressive, so we need to try to keep up. We do have control of the zone now. StarDash, he does see the drop coming ahead of time. Stalkers are getting in position. At the same time, Hellion pushing towards the natural. We have a 3-1-1 setup, standard production setup here from Vindicta, and he's going in. He checks, confirms the lack of third. Goes into middle line. The probes are being pulled. And we do get eyes on the bay. Oh my god. Not the direction that I thought we were going in. But the Hellion does get shut down. Mine drop looking to get into the natural, into the main. But it's going to be 2-gate blink into a robotic spay into a third base. So economic opener. The economy has been delayed, or the third base has been delayed in favor of Colossus production. So a bit of a safer variation, a more tech-heavy variation to get into faster Colossus. But overall, very macro-oriented. This time, not aggressive here from StarDash. Which means Vindicta has a lot of freedom. He has a lot of freedom to get into whatever he wants. He also scouted the tech. He's aware of what's going on. He hasn't seen the third base yet, but the Marine, I imagine, is going to be heading in that direction. He just checked for the goal base and is now working his way towards the third. So Vindicta, he's just getting all the information he needs. Behind this, 2 more Raxes are thrown down. Very aggressive here from Vindicta. He sees the third. He has no third base of his own. With these 2 more Raxes now, this isn't necessarily a 2-base all-in from Migs, but very committed nonetheless. A very delayed third base in favor of a quite strong timing. Stim, combat shields +1, all of these upgrades are about to kick in. When they're lined up, we're going to be pushing out across the map, and it's going to be a tough hold for DaSh. Here comes the Raven for some auto harass. Likewise, we still have that Widowmine drop here in the top right. Still has not committed. Migs just waiting for his opportunity, waiting for his shot. There it is, 3rd CC on the way. So again, he's not all in, but again, it's still going to be a pretty hefty push. It's still going to hit like a truck. Here we go. Vindicta, he is moving out. He has a tri-pronged attack. He has the main army. He has the auto harass and the Widowmine as well. It's all going to come together. And the Observer is following the army, so DaSh, he knows. Here comes the mine drop. Widowmine sips into the main base, and DaSh, he does pull away. He does react. Does react in time. 1 probe goes down. Meanwhile, auto turrets, they get dropped here into the natural base. Probes are falling, and here comes the main army. So far, DaSh, he is able to keep up. He is in position. Oh, with the tank shots. Again, really good tank positioning here from Vindicta. At the same time, we do have a Warp Prism into the main. Charge shots are warped in. Boys are being pulled. The production is being camped. A lot of damage is being done, and the pressure is now on Vindicta to push in. Yeah, these helps getting quite a lot done. The tanks are unsieged. Oof. A rough moment there for Migs. Caught unsieged. A big chunk of his army goes down. And he doesn't have much at home to defend. The Zealots are still wreaking havoc. We drop into the main. Depower some of these gateways. We get 1. We can maybe get a second gateway as well. Sorry, second pylon as well. Most of the gateways are depowered. We go straight for the third. Recall towards the third base. DaSh, he's keeping up. He is keeping up. He surrounds the army, and he will push this back. Medevacs escapes, but the tanks are going to be going down. Migs back at home finally cleans up this army. But DaSh, he's in a good position. The Medevacs up. Oh my god. The Medevacs barely do survive. They get the hell out of there, but DaSh, he did well for himself. He was able to split up his army. He minimized his losses. Sure, he lost some of his production, but it's back up and running. And he preserved his workers. That's the most important thing. He preserved these probes. They're still alive. They're still up and running. And DaSh, he's on 3 bases and on 56 workers. He's in a damn good position. And Migs, he pulls back. He's licking his wounds. We have a 3rd CC on the way. It's still not an orbital. And DaSh, he's fighting back. He's looking to make this a series. He wants it back. He wants that ace match. Scan reveals additional Colossi on the way. It's going to be the 3rd Colossus here for DaSh. Third base now being taken here from Migs. But he's stuck at home. He's stuck at home with the subpar economy. He's making as many SCVs as he can. And he relinquishes map control. And with that map control, DaSh is taking a 4th base as Migs takes a 3rd. Forge on the way for upgrades. We can get into Disruptor production. And there we go. First Disruptor is on the way. Now, DaSh, he hasn't won this yet. He's looking good. Don't get me wrong. He's looking damn good right now. That's merely the first step. He is going to be pushing through the center. At the same time, Zealot run-by being set up here towards the south. Prism into the main. It's going to be DaSh's turn to go for a tri-pronged attack. And can Migs keep up? He does get eyes on these Zealots. Good pickoff. He shuts them down. At the same time, Vikings are patrolling here outside his main base. They're going to come across the Prism. War Prism does get caught out. Migs, he does notice, and he is going to shut this down. There was potential. There was potential here for StarDash, but he is unable to get any damage done. The Zealots get shut down, the Prism as well. Mix holds. And he is on his road to recovery. Ghosts are on the way. Viking production well underway as well. Second Robo in production for StarDash, so he's going to be getting into double disruptors. Well, he's going to be able to make 2 disruptors at a time. Here we go. This is still going to come down to the attack. Like, StarDash is up in supply. Disruptors obviously have a lot of potential. I mean, they can either make or break a fight. We can either see some juicy connections on the Bio Army, or we can see them whiff and miss, and then Migs can overwhelm and overpower StarDash. We'll see. Behind this, again, we're getting into Double Forge production. Dark Shrine is on the way for some DTs. We're going to be scanning Migs. He's looking for the 4th base. Sorry, he's looking for potentially a 5th base even. He does see the 4th. Zealot run-by is being set up, and Migs, he's just more concerned with just turtling. After all the aggression, after an intense early game, Migs, we're calming things down. We're focusing on defense, establishing our 4th base, +1 ship weapons in production, 2-2 as well. Sensor tower gets thrown down. It looks like Vindicta, he is content here to, I say content, he's kind of forced to just turtle up back at home. StarDash is the first to max out, and ideally Migs, he wants to fight with the defense advantage. He wants to fight with the high ground, with his tanks, with his reinforcements. Here comes the army of StarDash. The scan does reveal it, and Migs, he's going to be rotating over. We have a double drop moving out, is spotted by the Zonaga. StarDash knows. He's pushing in. Big anti-armor missile. With that, we can't push into these tanks. We're going to try to, but we have plenty of ghosts. EMPs are available. The Vikings, they go ham here on the Colossus. Oof. As the Zealot run-by does somehow bypass the army of Migs. But it is going to be dealt with. And here we go. We're committing. The Novas, they miss. They do clip the army. Not the best connections. 1 Colossus goes down. 2 do survive. And Migs, he does trade well here, does lose 7 SCVs back at this 4th base, but he holds. He holds, and he's evening up the supply. Again, Migs, he knew that he was at the disadvantage, which is why he was just turtling back at home. He was waiting for his opponent to crash into him. And Migs, he was a brick wall, and StarDash, he could not bust it down. Now we can see a 5th base on the way. StarDash is trying to leverage his economy. He's transitioning into Sky. Oh my, that's a lot of Stargates. Fleet Beacon and 4 Stargates here for StarDash. +1 air attack is on the way. This is, of course, a secure way to get into the late game, but it's going to take a while to get into Carriers and Tempest. There's a window here where Vindicta, he can try to punish StarDash. Here we go, he's pushing in. The tanks are exposed. 1 tank goes down. Vindicta not in position. And Vindicta, he still doesn't know about the transition. There it is, 4 carriers at a time. Oh my god. It's going to take a while to produce. Until then, Migs can push out, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know that there's a window available, and he doesn't know that things are about to get far more difficult once these carriers kick in. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go, they are on the way. We have the chrono boost as well. Migs, he does come across these Zealots. I mean, like, turtling in this position for Migs is fine if only his opponent wasn't taking advantage of how passive Vindicta was. As StarDash, he's kind of running away with this. There it is, the carriers, they have arrived. DTs are coming in, they're being dealt with. Now, when it comes to how to deal with carriers, usually it's a bio-Viking-based army. We can see that right now, Migs, he's hyper-fixated on making Liberators, which is great against a ground toss army. Libs are not what you want against a sky toss army. We scan, and we see, finally, the carriers have been revealed. Migs is aware of what's been going on, and how does he respond? How does he react? So far, 3-3 is on the way. We're waiting for this round of Liberators to finish up before we get into Vikings. Again, I do think that we're going to have to rely on them. 3-3 is on the way. The problem is that Migs is maxed. Like, he has to get rid of this army somehow, some way. He has to trade. He's pushing out with the drop, but StarDash, he's in position. There it is. Third starport is on the way. StarDash is pushing behind this. DT waddles into the main base. Migs going for a run by. I'm just worried that this push may just end it all. Here we go. StarDash does reveal his army, pushing up the ramp into all these freedom zones. Freedom zones have arrived. We're zoning away the ground army here of StarDash. Plus 3 ship weapons on the way. We're engaging the disruptors. They move command forward. Big Nova's going to be going off. The ground army, it just gets annihilated. We do have some bio coming in from behind. StarDash is going to be losing his disruptors. He loses the ground army, but what about the carriers? These are Marauders. Marauders, they can't shoot up. The ground army is dealt with, but we need more in the air. Marines are on the way. Liberators as well. I'm not too fond of these libs. Again, there's nothing for them to do. As we do have the carrier army just busting through, breaking the Terran. The Marauders, they do nothing. They can deal with, I guess they can deal with these DTs. Liberators are doing what they can against the Interceptors, but they do take down a lot of Interceptors, to be fair. Migs, he's holding. He is holding on. Again, the Libs, they didn't do, they take down a carrier. They didn't do too well against the carriers themselves, but they cleaned up the Interceptors. And there we go. Viking production is commencing. Plus 3 ship weapons about to kick in. Migs, he's barely holding on here. Likewise, StarDash gonna have to rebuild his army. That was an expensive loss. He lost so many disruptors. I should have checked, actually. 7 disruptors. 7 disruptors went down, 2 Colossi and a couple of carriers. But we're now just committed to a mass carrier composition. Vindicta just stuck at home, slowly expanding. Trying to get ready to receive another army. And yeah, our answer here is going to be mainly a Lib force in the air. I'm curious. They have their place when it comes to dealing with the Stalkers, at least. Yeah, we're going straight for the Interceptors instead. Big Liberation volleys. Is it going to be enough? Vikings are coming in, but there may just be too many carriers. We're breaking through once again. And Migs, he has to evacuate. He knows he cannot deal with this. The Sky Toss. Again, it was a late scout. It was a late scout from Migs, and I mean, he was on the back foot after his push was cleaned up. StarDash had so much map control, so much presence here on Golden Aura, and he's snowballing out of control. Pushing on forward. Missile turret goes down. We're trying to make a final stand here, but Vindicta, he cannot hold on. It's just become too much. And we have an ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. Additional carriers have arrived. And again, the Marines cannot stand strong. GG gets called. And StarDash will take game number 2, tying it up 1-1. We have an ace match. Let's go. GG, well played. We have a series. And I was concerned. I was concerned that this was going to be a little bit more one-sided. I was concerned that this was going to go one way. But no, a good defense out of StarDash. Not just a good defense. Likewise, as he was defending against the first push of Vindicta, he was also able to sneak that prism across the map, wreak havoc in the mineral line, wreak havoc in the production. And the Zealots really did just throw a wrench in the works. And just like that, we're going to game 3. Again, a lot of people may not be familiar with StarDash. A A lot of people may not be familiar with him. We've casted him plenty of times here on the channel, covering him in the Oceanic weekly tournaments like Grand Platypus Open or the regional qualifiers as well. StarDash has been an up-and-coming player for the past couple of years. He's always been in the shadow of Ender, for example. StarDash, he's, I would say, the second best player in the Philippines, second only to Ender. But he's been really coming into his own this year specifically. This year, he has been kind of ramping up in skill and really coming into his own. He's been coming into his own as a player, and it shows, you know, to take a game off of Vindicta, not an easy feat. Not easy at all. And now we're getting ready for that game 3. See in chat, does he have any aliases? Yes, ExoDash and just DaSh. ExoDash is his old team. He used to be on a team called Exorbitance. I think Exorbitance. Which was a Filipino team back in the day. But yeah, that was his previous alias. Of course, since then, Exorbitant has disbanded. They're no longer a thing anymore. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But yeah, we are getting into this. We are getting into game number 3. Vámonos. See some people in the chat. Look, I don't think StarDash has a Wikipedia page. Let me just double check. Maybe I think StarDash has a user page, just because he's not notable enough. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match, game number 3. I'll check to see if there's a user page. And here we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have the American Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes being forced into the ace match. It is Vindicta. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Filipino Protoss player representing Berserker Esports. It is StarDash. Ender is known to me. He must be young still. Plays well. Yeah, he does play well. Again, StarDash, he's been competing for a long time, but, you know, for example, for some context, we used to cast StarDash when he was a Masters player. This was like 2019, 2018, like he was Masters back in the day. Relatively recently did he break into the GM scene, and yeah, he's been, again, doing well for himself. He's been improving a lot as a player over the past year or so. It's been really cool to see his, you know, him grow as a player over time. Did well for himself, but we'll see. Can he go the distance? Can he go all the way? As for now, Vindicta going for a much more aggressive opener. Double gas opener here from Vindicta. Looking to get into a faster factory, looking to get in the face of StarDash. And we'll see if he can. See if he can. As for now, the SV going to be getting across the map, just trying to get a read on things, looking to get behind the middle line, throwing down a bunker. Getting a cheeky move here from Migs. The bunker was something they couldn't quite get going in that last game, or previously in the series. But this is a way to disrupt the economy. The Reaper is going to be zooming across the map, looking to get behind the mineral line and to delay mining here at the natural for as long as possible. Meanwhile, StarDash. Yeah, I think the probe is just looking to get back in. We have the factory on the way. Oh, no, we commit to a proxy. Hello. A proxy pylon has been thrown down. Reaper does arrive here at the natural base. Bunker finishes. StarDash wasn't able to catch wind of this or really get a read on things. Oh. Nope. So Reaper does make it into the mineral line, or does make it into the bunker. But how committed are we going to be? What are we going to throw down across the map? I'm curious. Second Reaper is arriving. Again, with 2 Reapers here, there's just no mining. There's no shield battery either. I'm a little bit shocked. So typically to deal with this bunker, yeah, the shield battery should be thrown down well ahead of time. And this is a late shield battery here for the Protoss. Which means StarDash is going to be stuck on one base economy that much longer. Meanwhile, it's a gateway. We have a gateway across the map. Gateway back at home. Going to be 3 gates in total. Delayed tech. Okay. So delayed Twilight Council in favor of additional gateways to be a little bit more assertive as a 3rd Reaper arrives. Oh my god. And what's a little bit worrisome is these 3 Reapers, they can't even threaten the main. They can threaten a dive into the main base to get even more damage done. God, the base itself taking a lot of hits. Aye. But eventually we should break through. We should break out and... Oh! 1 Reaper goes down. The Hellion goes right for the main base. Overcharge is popped. We do manage to get the salvage off. And the Hellion does scout the main. Does confirm that tech is missing. And we have 2 gateways. Very suspect. Very suspect here. I'm sure alarm bells are ringing. MiG's getting ready back at home. A bunker is on the way. Tank in production. And this Cyclone, I feel like, should stay at home. Here we go. The army does reveal itself. The boys are being pulled so far. We do get the repair. Cyclone barely is kept alive, but StarDash, she just dives on the natural base, dives on the bunker. Tank is sieging. Oh, it's going to be a close hold. We push up the ramp. The tank is going to go down. But it looks like we have softened up this army enough that we can maybe deal with this. But we go for another warp in. StarDash, he's busting up the ramp. He's barely trying to break through. Down to 3 Stalkers. A couple more units are on the way. He busts into the main base. The tank barely does come out. And we are forcing StarDash out of the main. Again, good target firing here by Vindicta. He takes down 3 Stalkers. But the stay shade in. StarDash, he's achieving so much with this. 11 SCVs go down. Oof. And MiGs will hold, but that was a lot of damage dealt. He's down to 25 workers across the map. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. Yes, StarDash did do a lot of economic damage. This is good. Very good. He killed the tank as well. The downside is his tech. Right? No blink, no phoenixes, no map control outside of these vanilla gateway units. And he's going straight for a 3rd base. Oh my god. So greedy. I do think this is a really good move though. Like again, Vindicta, he's contained. He's contained to these 2 bases. At least he should be. A scan into the main reveals the Twilight Council and the Robo. We have Cloak Banshees on the way. This is a good way for Vindicta to come back in this game. And he needs to. He needs to do some kind of damage across the map. Because StarDash is running away with this. And StarDash almost double the worker count of MiGs. Almost. Banshee's moving out. Cloak is still not done. StarDash, does he come across the Banshee? Up!
Our base is in peril.
He barely doesn't. Banshee reveals itself in the main. Cloak is done. We're going for the shield battery. Shield battery a bit out of range here at the natural. Workers are going down. Observers on the way. But we got a prism first, which means probes are going down. Observers still in production. We're going to get 6 workers here at the natural alongside the shield battery. A good amount of damage, especially considering that these Banshees survive. They survive. They live to fight another day. Unfortunately, MiGs hasn't seen the 3rd. He doesn't know just how far ahead StarDash is economically. He's going for a warp in across the map. Again, StarDash just threatening a dive into the main base with those zealots. Migs is pushing out. When StarDash doesn't have much of an army, Blink is still on the way, still not even halfway done. He is vulnerable. Move out hasn't spotted. That should be the signal here for the Prism to go in. We go the Prism into the main base. Stim is done. We have some reinforcements. Boys are being pulled. And Vindicta, he's not turning back around. He's committing to the fight. Dives on the army. Shield battery goes down. Overcharge is denied. And it looks like Migs, he will take control of the third base. One of these tanks is in a really awkward position. Oh no! The tank is going to be going down. Behind this, the Zealots still have not been dealt with. Still one Zealot in the main, but finally gets cleaned up. We have Banshees wreaking havoc in the main base, and it looks like Vindicta, he has done it. He has pulled StarDash apart. GG gets called. And Vindicta will take the series 2-1. GG. That was a stressful game, Poppy. That was a stressful game. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played. Vindicta will take it in the end. He will advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. That was a close series, though. Like, StarDash did well for himself, getting economic damage done, getting ahead even. But the Banshees, they did so much for Vindicta, giving him some breathing room, crippling the economy of his opponents, or keeping the economy in check. And the move out was just, yeah, it just couldn't be stopped. Again, a big reason for the faster third was the delayed tech. Without Blink, with a lack of charge lots, with a lack of an army, StarDash was vulnerable. And here we go. We are getting into the upper semis.